signals of imminent dangers. Before the community has much to see, we are up here waiting to warn of rising seas.
Hey guys, cooldomino here. This would be a video. Might be a long video though, but it's going to be a video about how to rebuild a A2-4M blower right here. It might work on C-series blowers as well, A2-4M C-series, but mine's a 4MC right here, but it's an A2 series. Not sure why that is, but I got new bearings, got new seals, and I got a new pulley wheel as well. I just put it on this morning and yesterday, and get this dual pulley wheel. It's just that old one's a little bigger. It was a little smaller than this one right here, so that's gonna be the trick right here. And 3 belts like the motor side, basically. So yeah, I'm gonna show you how to disassemble this thing, time everything, even replace the bearings, replace the gears, re-grease this thing, put new oil in. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun project basically, and I'm gonna get some tools and I'll be right back. Tools that you're gonna need is you're gonna need a dead blow hammer. You see this is a dead blow. You can hear the shaking the stuff around. You're also gonna need just a regular rubber mallet, sledgehammer like a mini sledge, some chisels or wedges, feeler gauges. Ideally the long one, but you might be able to get away with a short one. This is an Allen wrench. You're gonna need one of these. It's 1/8 Allen wrench, a punch for match marking, a 1/2 inch socket, and a 7/16 socket. A bearing puller, so you can pull the gears off, an adjustable wrench, a regular wrench, and or a socket wrench, I should say, and or an impact driver. And it's just extra sockets here. You're also going to need one socket for your puller as well. This one appears to be 11/16, but your puller might be different than mine. You also might need some bricks or 2x4s or 4x4s or something like that to elevate the blower itself. So you can get the gears on and off and have that shaft not interfere. So yeah, pretty cool. You also might want a Sharpie or permanent marker, safety goggles possibly, and definitely some gloves as well, because things are going to get messy and you don't want grease and oil all over your hands. And maybe possibly a degreaser and some silicone as well. So the first thing probably what you want to do is you want to go ahead and remove your pulley wheel. These pulley wheels are pretty easy to remove. I already did a tutorial video on how to remove a pulley wheel on a motor and everything. They're quite simple right here. I'm not going to show you again though. If you need to watch, watch that video. I'll leave a link in the description or up in the top right corner. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the blower out right here. Get it out of the way for now. This mount right here will basically capture the oil spills and grease spills and everything, and that's going to be my working mat. And I'm going to get the bricks as well to elevate the blower. That's what I need. There you go. Now it's up on the mat. It wasn't too bad though, but all you gotta do to get help with moving heavy things, but that's your strong enough. This container I'm going to use is pretty dirty. It's just used to hold an old vinegar and such that I reused for derusting over the years, but it's all dried out. You can see it's all dried out. I'm going to use this to capture the oil that's going to be coming out of here, and I'm going to be changing the oil anyway, so I'm not going to worry about putting this oil back in. So I'm going to put that underneath the blower just like that, and hopefully that'll catch all the oil. Probably would also be a good idea to put on some disposable gloves as well, because this is going to get messy. Like, when I mean messy, I mean really messy. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to go ahead and remove your top oil plug right here. Might be some Teflon tape on here. I'm going to remove this as well because I don't really need that. These spin smoothly right now, but bearings need to be changed, and so do the seals. So that's the point of making this video. I'm going to change the bearings and change the seals at the same time, and shoot this video. So first thing is remove this pipe plug. As soon as you get most of it out of the way, you're going to move your fingers out of the way as soon as you bring that hose seal like that. I got a little bit of oil on my gloves right here, but that's okay. That's what the gloves are for. Now it's going to take some time to drain. Actually, I'm going to get a paper towel real quick because oil. That's going to take a little bit of time to drain, but while that's draining, I'm going to be removing the pulley wheel. So I got the pulley wheel off. Now I'm going to go ahead and remove this cover right here. That's the cover right there that holds the gears. So you want to be ready to flip it up right though. And actually held up, but you can act fast. Get your hammer, give it a gentle tap, and now you're free. Now tip this back up right, just so you won't spill oil over here like what I just did. That's okay. That's why you have this little mat thing right here. So as See, there's a little bit of oil in there, but this is just a silicone I just put on there. But yeah, that's the oil right there, oil cover. So I'm going to set this somewhere real stick in it. And then I'm going to start drying off all the oil that is on inside here. Because you're going to be pulling these gears off pretty soon. And by the way, before you pull the gears off, if possible, check the clearances in here so you know exactly what you're getting right here. This is a 4M though. I heard different blowers have different kinds of gears and tolerance and everything, so make sure, if possible, look at the manual as well. I couldn't find a manual for the 4M though, but if you can find a manual, please leave in the comments down below. I'll be sure to pin it for you. Okay, so here comes the fun part. What I'm going to do is going to lift the blower off of the bricks right here, move the bricks out of the way. Since now you got all the oil drained, but you're going to keep it on the mat. That's the important part because there's still a little bit of oil in here I couldn't really get off though, but whatever. So what you're going to do, you're going to pick up the blower and just put it right here for now. Bricks out of the way. Punch these I'm going to punch these alignment pins out right here, so I'm going to get the 4 out. Like that. They don't have to come out all the way right now. And I'm just using a chisel right here. I'm going to flip it upside down and do the same thing. Go ahead and punch these out. Now all those are out. And take out all these screws. And you also want to take this grease cover off as well. This grease cover right here, you want to take that off. Not the drive-in yet though. The reason why that is, you can get access to the shafts. You could start working those out. There's your grease cap, and that's all full grease. Now this is going to be the hard part though, because I have to somehow pull this cover off. But a lot of other blowers out there, they have jacking holes like on opposite sides. This blower doesn't. I'm not sure if that's true for all Thunderbolt blowers, but I'm going to use like a little metal stake here and a dead blow hammer. Like this is a dead blow hammer right here. You can hear it shaking around. And just kind of work it out on both sides. Work it out evenly. Once you get out that taper, it should be a lot easier. You might also want to undo all the screws on this side as well. This is actually a brand new dead blow right here. You can see this without the tag on it. Might be a little tricky, so I'm going to pull this back a little bit, and then I put a wedge in here. This is just a chisel right here. Wedge it open, like that. I'm going to continue with the dead blow. Basically all you're doing is you are getting the shaft off the paper. The reason why I want to do it this way though, you can do this, you can wedge it on either side though, just make sure you do not touch the lobes. If someone else has a better idea how to get this apart, please leave a comment below. Now it looks like it's free, so you can see it's free right now. I'm just going to grip it on here. Yep, and it pulls right off. Perfect. Now I'm going to set this upright on the mat somewhere. Put it right there for now. I can smell the grease. So now, clean up the shafts a little bit, because there's grease all over the shafts, because I'm going to be putting new grease in it. So that side is free. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. And by the way, probably I've mentioned this, should have mentioned it earlier, but it's a good idea to match mark it. If you don't know what match marking is, you put like a little punch on each side of the blower, so you know which side is which. So I'm going to do that right now. You're going to go ahead and you're going to match mark it. So what you're going to do, you're going to set it into place. You're going to give it a big whack, maybe a couple whacks. Do like 2 next to each other on one side before you take it apart, and then do the same thing on this side right here. There you go, you kind of see it a little bit though. You can't really see it right now though, but I'll get back to that in a later bit of the video. We're going to take the other side off. spin this around again. Free these pins right here. Like that. And the other 2 pins should be freed already as well. Pull them out if possible. If not, that's okay. I'm going to take these pins out on this side though. Well, you can see that. Yes, you can. Here's the pins. Put them in the hardware bin. Now, move this out of the way. And now you're going to zip out these screws right here. You might need to remove this sight plug right here, which got 2 of them loose because I took the screen off. There we go. Now this should be able to come free now. Keep this upright and then keep this on the mat. There we go. Now this should be able to come right out. Those pins kind of get in the way though, so that's going to be a little bit of a challenge though, so we're going to wedge it a little bit. Here's the side. Now what I like to do about the side here is, since it was on like this here, I'm going to put it up face up, just so I know how it was put together, which will really come in handy for later on. Now, the only thing left to do is pull the gears off. I'm going to flip this around. You can see the lobes are still stuck together because the gears are on still. Before I pull the gears off, I'm going to clean up a little bit more oil off of this thing. Now what I like to do is I can line this up. So basically, one lobe is horizontal and one lobe is vertical. So I'm going to line this up. So basically it'd be like that. Just so I know how it's lined up. So this is how it's configured right here. Before I pull it off. And I'm going to grab my Sharpie, if I can find it. Grab my Sharpie, and I'm going to mark the tooth the gear is sitting on. Just like that. And this is just a leftover mark from previous rebuild. The next thing to do is to pull the gears off. What I like to do is I like to grab a puller, like just 2-jaw puller. I don't know where exactly we can get these though, but I heard you can Harbor Freight, you can get these at Harbor Freight. I'm cutting it down onto the shaft. Now try to reach the center of the shaft. Be right there. Okay? No, I think I'll wind up. Now these lobes are free to come out now, so I'm going to take this lobe out. This is the driven lobe. I just pulled that out. And this is the drive lobe, which needs some help. So I'm going to use the dead blow. Hold your lobes so they won't come flying out at you. That one came out easily. That goes like right there. And now the bearings need to come out. So since I already have this one taken out though, I'm going to take my little thing here and I'm just going to tap the bearing out. First the bearing. That's that bearing. Now I'm going to just give the bearing seal. That's the bearing seal. You can see this one's in really bad shape right here. Look how bad shape that is. I'm going to grab my new seal. Make sure it's the right size. Looks like it is. But before I put the new seal in, I'm going to clean this out, so I'll be right back. So apparently these new seals are just too big for them to fit into my blower system. So I'm going to reuse the old seals for now and then eventually put the new seals in. So yeah, this is the gear end right here and this is the drive end. This is where the drive shaft goes. So there's my 4 bad seal, which is all I have right now. So I'm just going to put all these back in. Doesn't really matter how I put them in though, so I'm just going to put that one in there. Use my aluminum ingot right here that I made when I was casting. And tap it in. Alright, this aluminum ingot has been very helpful though, because the nice thing about aluminum is it gets dented more easily than steel. So this is deformed first before the seal. This is the new bearing right here, brand new bearing, and the old bearing's over here. So what you're going to do is you're going to put the bearing in, drop it in like that, and you're going to do the same thing with the other 3 bearings right there. Here, this one right here, you can see it got blued a little bit. Like that's the old bearing. Let's get this one open here. Yeah, this is the old greasy bearing. You can see it's all greasy. And this here is the new bearing. You can see the difference right there. So those are Those bearings are probably going to be recycled probably. And this one is a new bearing which are going to be used in the system. Just like that. They should go in pretty easily for the most part though, but if they don't, give them a little tap with like a aluminum hammer or something like that, or aluminum tapping block. And I'll get the last one out and then I'll push the other two in. You can see these are brand new bearings right here. In case you are wondering, the part number of the bearings, right here. Go ahead and feel free to take a screenshot of that. You can see it though. Hopefully you can see the part number. Okay, so go to 6305. That's the brand name right there. So, feel free to screenshot that. Put the bearings in. Now it's not going in, so I have to give it a little gentle tap. There you go. There's that one. The bearings feel nice and smooth, which is a good thing though. And now it's time to put this thing back together. The first step while putting this back together, well, I'm not going to put the bearing caps on yet because these bearings might come out when I go to push the two lobes together. But the first thing I need to do is I need to grab my bearing holding bracket, put it on there just to hold the bearings in place, and then find the 4 screws that go into it. Now these go in the holes right here. Now I'm gonna have to be taking this apart again anyways though once I get new seals, because these new seals are just too big. So now I'm gonna do, move this plate out of the way. Should put the oil on there. Put it over here for now, on against the motor. Now I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flip this upright like that. Alright, and I'm gonna lay this down. And since I have this thing, the housing face up though, I'm going to put it face up once again like that. Actually, I'm going to do it, I'm going to put it like this, turn this around, put this over here, and then basically turn this upside down, it has match marks on top basically. And then grab this, put it on top, I can get my fingers out of the way. That looks pretty good. Let's spray a little bit more degreaser in there. Now I'm going to put the screws in. I'm only going to put 4 in for now, because you're going to have to readjust this later, and I'll show you how to do that once you get the lobes in. Now I'll grab my smaller hammer right here and start putting the tapered pins in, basically. I'm just going to put them in my hand first, and I'll go ahead and tap all the pins in. And now, with the pins all lined, I can tighten these down all the way. There that is that side. Now, I'll flip this right side up. Maybe actually put a brick underneath it though. Like that. And now I'm going to put my lobes in. Now, something to keep in mind. This side is the drive side. And this side is the driven side. So I'm going to take my driven lobe first. The circular key goes on a gear end. And I'm going to put the lobe in the casing. Just like that. Actually, I might brush wheel these at some point. I'm going to use a dead blow hammer. Give it a couple whacks. Get an idea how hard these lobes are to get in. You can see now it spins freely for the most part. Now this is the drive lobe right here. This here is the drive lobe. So you have a longer shaft on one side, and then the shaft height is about equal. But once again, the half moon thing goes to the gear end. So I'm going to go ahead and put this lobe in. Now, I'm going to use the dead blow again. Tap it in place. And there we go. Now, both lobes are in. They're not in all the way, you can see, but this plate right here is going to help with that. And I take my other plate, The bearings are starting to come out actually. I'm going to push my brick into the thing, into the blower a little bit more, get that out of the way. And now I'm going to put my cover plate on, my front cover. Just like so. And get the bearing on the taper, because that's always the hardest part, getting the bearing on the tapered. Because these shafts are tapered to hold the bearings. Like that, you can see the bearings fell out. That happens sometimes, so. That's okay, you just take these bearings, pick them back up. Tap them back in place with the aluminum tapping block that I have. Or the tapping in this case. There we go. There's the blower. Now I'm going to get these bearings tapped in the rest of the way. Now make sure you do the inner race, not the outer race. This my pipe tool right here is all kind of beaten up though. But it fits just nicely on the inner race. Tap that in the rest of the way. Use my bigger hammer for this. A longer tool. There's a longer pipe right here. And I'll actually do it like this here. And tap it in. Now it's in, I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Alignment pins back in. You see, got one alignment pin in there. Tap that on plate. Now you can see the lobes do spin. Sometimes the lobes spin, sometimes they don't, but there's a little trick on how it's getting spinning again. But first, I'm going to put all the screws in. Alright, so I got all the screws in. Now you may notice, if I tip this back up right here, see the lobes are totally seized up. That's fine. Because you're going to take your dead blow, you know, hit the shafts on the gear end a couple times, and it should start spinning again, which are not. Maybe you can also try to do, take a sledgehammer and the stake, if I can find it, it's over here. Beat the hard as you can right here. And they're still not spinning. Well, sometimes it takes a couple tries to hit these shafts right here to get them to spin. I'm going to try the dead blow again. Now I got spinning. And do the same thing on the other one. So basically what you're doing is you're shifting all the shafts, basically. All the lobes. Alright, as you can see, both lobes are actually spinning now. They're currently both vertical now, so I'm going to do, I have to get my gloves on here, is I'm going to put the gear on the driven end. Because, as you remember from previous blower stuff, you can see there's no play in here. The driven lobe is a little tight, but I think it'll get better over time, because I've seen that happen before in my blowers. So basically, right now, they're vertical now. Both lobes are vertical. And now, I'm going to rotate one of the lobes. I'm going to do a driven lobe, so it's horizontal, like that. Now, spin this around. Make sure we're nice and horizontal. Took some time though, but I finally got the lobes to be nice and smooth, and they sound a lot better than with the old bearing. You can see how quiet that is. Not kind of the lobes tapping against each other, but as I was saying before, I'm going to position this so basically one lobe vertical and one lobe horizontal. And that's going to be a good spot right there. Now, I take my gear, my left gear, my driven gear, which is right here. This is my driven gear. And I'm going to do is I'm going to line up the keyway in place. Hang on, let's get it lined up. That looks like it's pretty much lined up. It looks like, I think for the most part, yep, it looks like it's lined up. Now, so here's the trick part. This gear has to go all the way on the shaft. So I'm going to do is I'm going to put this back on the bricks though, and slam that gear back on. I'll be right back. Alright, now the gear's on. I'm going to start slamming this on. Can't idea how hard these are to get on though. There you go, that's as far as it's gonna go. Basically there's like a taper on the shaft though. It actually went on nicely though. So that's the first gear. I grab my pin here. Put that in place and tap that in place basically. Alright, that is on nice right there. See, both of those are still spinning freely. Now I'm going to position this, so basically this is vertical. First lobe is vertical. It should be like that. And now I'm going to get my feeler gauge. So it's a good idea to get these long feeler gauges. So you can get these from Amazon for like $15. I'm going to put a 10/1000 feeler in there. So I'm going to stick a 10 thou in there, 10/1000. And we're going to put the gear on, check the clearances, and see if it works out. If it doesn't work out, I'm pulling the gear back off. So I'm going to put the 10/1000 feeler in there, just like that. I'm going to grab my other gear. Now, I'm going to stick the feeler in there. Make sure this is all perfect right here. Make sure there is no wiggle room between the two lobes. That looks pretty good. Now I'm going to start this on the ground, and again I'm going to flip it up on its top again. But this time I'm going to line up the tooth. There you go. Now the gear's on. Now I'm not going to put it on all the way yet. I'm going to spin this. And you're going to tell already that it is not tying because the lobes are crashing into each other. So it means the bottom of this lobe is hitting the side of this lobe. So this one needs to move over a little bit. So I'm getting my puller. So the puller, this gear needs to come back off. There we go. So this lobe needs to move over a little bit like that. And now, try putting this gear back on right here. And I'll check the clearances again. Put that on like that. Alright, so I got the gear back on. Before I put the gear on the way, I'm going to check the clearances. On the 4M, I believe that the timing is 10/1000 between from lobe to lobe. And from the lobe to the sidewall, it's going to be 5/1000. So, let's test that out. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my 10/1000 feeler again. I can find it though. So, let's check between the lobes. It looks like I can pull that out, and I'm going to spin this around 180 degrees. Check between these two lobes right here. That seems to be okay. This side is the one that needs to be moved, removed a little, like literally just one, like 1/10,000th, like literally just like 1/1000th of an inch off. So I'm going to pull the gear off again and retime it. After several attempts on retiming this blower over and over again, I think I got in a spot where it's going to be good. So I did a 10/1000th, so then I'm going to do a clearance check. Should be 10/1000 between the lobes. You see, I have a single feeler though, but yeah, that was hard to pull out, but it does pull out. And this side feels a lot very smooth right here. So stick this feeler in there, and I can pull out easily. So sounds nice, smoother, but I think a lot smoother than the original bearings that were in here. So yeah, that's definitely something to keep in mind though, because the bearings start sounding very rough. Now it sounds a lot quieter and should sound better. It's pretty cool, and you can see it gives off air. And now I'm gonna put the back cover on. I'm gonna get stuff set up and I'll be right back. It's always a good idea to seal up your oil reservoir cover right here. It's all cleaned out right here. Just because you don't want to deal with any oil leaks, basically. There's that. Now I'm going to set this down real quick. And now I'm going to get some screws ready as well, just so I could be ready to put those screws on when I put the cover on. This is just regular silicone because that's all I have though, but if you recommend a better silicone and know where I can get some, just let me know. I might be able to find some and replace that with this stuff. And something to keep in mind though, when you put this on, be very careful not to touch the gears with the silicone, because you're going to pull this off, clean up the gears, and then reseal it. So yeah, I'm going to get a screw ready here. Actually, 2 screws ready. And then I'm going to go ahead and pick this up and hopefully get this on without touching the gears. Clear the gears, that's a good sign. I'm going to rest it right there because there's no silicone right here though. So I'm going to go ahead, get my screw ready. All the screws are in now. Now I'm going to clean up some of the silicone. I'll use this paper towel right here. This is the only one I have available on me. Going to squeeze out basically. This should be able to keep the... See, you can hear the blower sound a lot better now. Now, next step is put the grease covers on and grease up the bearings. So the grease I'm going to be using for this is the Lucas Red and Tacky right here. So if you have a better grease in mind, please let me know, and I'll re-grease on the next rebuild, which is not going to be too long though, because it needs the seals whenever I get the seals in. So getting the grease caps on. See, I got the screws in already. And now, since I got the Red and Tacky loaded up in the grease gun, so I'm going to start greasing this thing up. Now normally, what you want to do is you want to grease this up until you see grease come out of these holes right here. These are the vents right here. But since I'm only going to be, I might only grease it a little bit though, because I'm going to be doing a rebuild again. Want to get those seals, I'm not going to grease it that much. That should be enough grease for now. I'm going to get this thing a spin to make sure it gets, all the bearings get coated in grease. These 2 bearings. Yeah, this sounds a lot better. A lot better. Perfectly well timed. New bearings, and then you get new seals, because the ones I got are too big. And there we go. Looks pretty good right there. I'm going to get the camera off the tripod real quick and I'll be right back. There's the blower right here. The blower is all nice and timed. See, I'm moving the shaft right there. Yeah, this thing feels a whole lot better than those old bearings we're doing. Pretty cool. I still gotta oil it up. I'm gonna wait for the silicone to cure and then I'll oil it. The oil that I'm gonna use is SuperTech S8030. Get this at Walmart. Make sure you recycle your old oil if you got old oil out of this thing. Just simply take it to like Napa or AutoZone or whatever basically, and they'll be able to recycle it for you. Or Walmart recycled oil as well. So I'm gonna take this off here. And just basically make sure when you fill this up, make sure you keep filling oil until you see some come out the sight right here. Once that starts overflowing in the sight, put your other plug in and you should be good to go. What I'm going to do right now. Might be a while. Let it settle in there. A little bit at a time. That's what you want to do. Make sure we're not leaking. Because that'd be really, really bad if that was leaking. I'm feeling weak still, that's a good sign. There you can see, that's the sight right there. Put just enough oil. There's just enough oil left in this bottle right here to fill it up though. Now I'm going to let this finish dripping real quick, and then I'm going to put the pipe plug back on, and it should be good to go. Now I got all the oil in. Now I got a little bit of a spill right here because something, I think the oil just came down the side and kind of dripped down over here. So not big of a deal. Good thing I have this mat here. So that's why I had the mat when I work on the blower. I'm going to go ahead and seal this up here. I'm going to put the top one on like so. And we should be ready to go basically. And by the way, if you ever do need help with the blower or you have suggestions for the video, please let me know in the comments down below. I'm be happy to answer those for you, answer your questions and comments and everything. I do read the comments, so hopefully if I don't get your comment, I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible, or for whatever reason I don't get your comment though, but hopefully I can get your comment. Other than that, please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a great day.
Heed all warnings, and you won't be mourning. All loud cry, signals of imminent dangers. Before the community has much to see, we are up here waiting to warn of rising seas and raining trees. Whether or not our heads turn, our systems react, because we know about floods, tornadoes, and attacks. Heed our warnings and you won't be mourning.